Whether it's the East Coast or the West, there's only one league who brings out the people like no other. URL. URL's Traffic 3 is the first MC battle event on the West Coast to ever sell out weeks in advance. The excitement is at an all-time high as the biggest event to ever hit the West Coast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Quarantine Dream Team is back. France and Vlad, Let's Talk Battle Rap Podcast. Today we got a special episode for you. We're going back into the hot tub time machine, into the rewind chamber, and we're revisiting a URL.TV classic, Traffic 3. France, what it do, baby?
Vlad, what's up, man? I'm really excited to do this retrospective podcast with you because this is an idea we've talked about for a long time, like going back to like educate people in events, the storyline. Because you've seen my crib, you've seen the battle rap wall I have. I have a battle rap wall full of flyers that events I've been to, pay-per-views I've copped, or things that I know all about. And the URL Traffic 3 event, honestly, doesn't get enough credit. I think it's pretty underrated. It's probably one of the best events of 2017. It was a gem.
Oh, hands down.
It was a gem.
Hands down.
It was a pure gem, like
an uncut gem.
We did a poll on Twitter, briefly asking everybody. First, we took suggestions like, hey, you know, what podcast would you like to see? What event would you like to see a podcast on? And then we did a poll of the top 4 events that were nominated. Summer Madness 2. Everybody wants to hear Summer Madness 2, and it's gonna happen. We're gonna get to it. But I feel like Summer Madness 2 is the story your uncle tells all the time when you see him that he forgets that he's told you. You know what I mean, Vlad? Like it's that one event. It's that one story. It's like,
I know what you. I was at the Willis Reed game at the Garden when he came back after the bum knee. We know Willis Reed was injured. He came out of the hallway. Everyone went crazy. And the Knicks won. We know. We know.
It's like,
tell us another story.
It's like, I get it. And then he starts saying the story. Then you start lip syncing it with him, and you're like, all right, I get it. So we'll get to Summer Madness 2 in the near future. But Traffic 3, it's such a beautiful event in my opinion. The third Traffic of its kind, because Traffic 1 was really an expansion effort to go out to the West.
I was just testing the market at first, Traffic 1.
Truthfully, it was just one big, like, let's see what's out there. You know?
Exactly.
Traffic 2 was when it got a little bit more serious. They made Pass come over for King of the Dot and headline. Mm-hmm. And they had Briz headlining. And I mean, Pass versus Briz on paper sounds incredible. More importantly, it sounds like a big match, but at the time, it wasn't a big match.
And truth be told, those was a couple of small cards, B. If you look at the way it was shot and the amount of people that were there, I mean, the crowd that was there was amazing. Like, people were turning up for it, but it wasn't what Traffic 3 was. Traffic 3 was like, oh, we have arrived. We have a hardcore fan base out here. We have people who know how to act accordingly, and we have people who are willing to give it up. And yo, France, people showed up and showed out for this event. It was no longer a small room, small time West Coast URL event. This was just a URL event.
Yeah, it became its own, like, real, oh, this is one of them ones. Like, now we can kind of anomalate this next to Summer Madness and Nome. Like, can Traffic be one of those events? Can Traffic be that? And it was starting to look like it, and mainly because of the first announcement. You get Tay-Rock and Disaster as an announcement for Traffic as a headliner. And I'm just like, wow, first off, what a style clash. And we just had Tay-Rock come off the Hollow of the Dawn battle. He's having a Champion of the Year, MVP-like year. What was your first reaction when you saw that was the headliner? Were you automatically sold on whatever was going to come from this?
I mean, fresh off the Hollow of the Dawn battle, and, you know, you're thinking, oh, Diz on the West? This might be a little different than the Diz that we got versus T-Rex out east. So, figuring homie's in his backyard, Tay-Rock's fresh off this Hollow battle, this is going to be something special.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt too. And it was announced fairly early, like not too long after the Hollow battle on Summerman the 6th. So you're thinking to yourself, oh, Tay-Rock is battling Hollow and Disaster back to back. Like nobody's done this.
Yeah. Two different complete, styles, two leaders on the board, two all-time greats. Like, this is Tay-Rock's moment to really show, like, yo, I'm going to slay two dragons back to back with this one.
And Disaster's just coming off the Oxy battle, so he gets to have another headliner back in his hometown.
Facts. And a chance to, do his thing back at home.
Get redemption.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I always looked at that Oxy battle like, yo, Diz is putting on a show for the world, and Oxy came to battle Disaster. You know what I'm saying? To put on like crazy.
Not to segue too far, have you got a chance to rewatch that battle? It's very political. Like, I actually could show that to a non-casual fan or a brand new fan, and they can follow it because Oxy gets so deep into the U.S. politics or like, Disaster ethnicity that it's actually a really good battle.
Yeah, I think it just kind of got a little bit lost in the sauce and whatnot. But when you break it down, there's heavy content in these battles. And I know a lot of times people always say, oh, Diz be rambling, Diz this, Diz that. But, Diz be having mad content in his battles, too, when you break it down. And if you're looking for it, it's there.
Personally, like, at some point in time, I don't know if it's going to take a whole podcast, but maybe I'll write a piece about it and just reflect on Oxy and Disaster, because I feel like that's a very important moment in battle rap history of somebody transitioning over and the whole way that battle got set up and the impact that on it afterwards. But Disaster coming off the Oxy battle and Rock coming off the Hollow battle, like, these guys both just came off of, like, you can say they were premier matches.
Absolutely.
And so I'm here pretty excited, like, okay, like, let's see Rock on the road. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the card, I'll run through the battles on the card real quick, and then we're going to talk about the storylines and the narrative at the time. We had Rum Nitty and DNA on the card, Shotgun Suge and Ill Will, JC and T-Top, Danny Myers and K-Shine, which was rescheduled, and Geechee Gotti and Av. Now, the Danny Myers and K-Shine battle was really intriguing to me because at the time, K-Shine started to look like he was biting more than he can chew. He had the battle with Old Red. And, I mean, it's just a par battle, right? It's a pedestrian K-Shine.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was nothing special. But then against Hitman, he was the overwhelming favorite. And Hitman kind of, it kind of showed him a little bit of a level.
That one.
Yeah, he caught the dub in that one. And so he's having a bit of like a struggle with Red, a little bit of a struggle with Hitman. And then he had Danny Myers and Young Cannon back to back. And K-Shine was also having, I think, his daughter being born at the time.
Yeah.
Right?
He was.
So I mean, the reason why he couldn't make it out to the battle is because his baby mother went to labor. Like, he has to be there. He's not gonna miss the birth of his child.
Wife went into labor. Yeah,
he's not gonna miss the birth of his child for a battle.
For Danny Myers,
especially not for Danny Myers. I mean, so like, I understood that rescheduling. It made sense. And more importantly, he stopped for a minute and rescheduled the Young Cannon battle and just said, I'll take Danny a month later. Might have been a smart thing because, him and Danny came out really fire on volume. And I'll always say to myself, big what if K-Shine battled Danny Myers that day there?
Yo, I just remember Danny Myers not understanding why K-Shine wanted to be there at the birth of his kid. Like, I would have showed up and still battled, like, I'm like, yeah, well, you got 23 kids, so you missing the birth of one, it ain't a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
K-Shine is trying to be there, and Daddy's like, oh, man, he ducked my battle. He ducked. I'm like, dude, he's having a kid that's being born. They're NBA players and NFL players that miss important games due to the birth of their kids. Battle rap will still be here, Danny.
Well said, Vlad. Well said. But, I also feel like he felt a little left out because this was the beginning of the West Coast package. This is like, you book me, you got to book my two guys too, right?
Right.
where you got Rum and Geechee and Danny. And then later on, B-Dot was also a surprise battle on this card.
Yes.
Which we'll get into in a little bit. But, Danny Myers, he's a warrior. And Glue Easy coming off the Geechee Gotti battle, who look really good.
Yes.
They look really good against each other, Geechee and Glue.
Yeah,
they look
because
like,
at that time, Geechee just came off the Glue battle, and they were both on fire. Glue Easy was smoking at that time, fresh off of that battle. So it's not like the Glue we're seeing now, who's climbing back up the ranks. This guy was on fire following the Geechee Gotti battle.
Yeah, this is probably the most momentum he actually had going into things. Probably, like this is like, oh, I'm really excited to see Glue Easy. So he stepped in with, I think, a week's prep.
Mm-hmm.
To battle Danny, and Danny might do the same. And Danny's a warrior; he'll take it. And Glue is just that guy that's hungry and saying, "Hey, you get to fly me to Cali? Sure, why the fuck not? I'll do it." Yeah,
facts.
And so, the surprise battle of this card, B-Dot and Emerson Kennedy. What was your initial reaction when the pay-per-view starts? Bam! This is Avocado's first time directing a pay-per-view for URL, so now the partnership has been created, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you see B-Dot come to the stage. This is a guy who has been fighting about not doing a PG for years, is battling top tiers on King of the Dot and on other leagues. And here he is on URL doing a PG, the first ever PG on a pay-per-view stream.
I ain't gonna lie, friends. The BRI was kept under wraps for this one. I had no clue that this was gonna happen, and it was truly a shock to me. When I saw B-Dot walked out, I literally stood up off the couch and was like, yo, this gonna get crazy right now. Then when they said versus Emerson Kennedy, I was like, yo, I know Emerson is crazy. I don't know what to really expect from this battle right now, but I know that I'm excited to see B-Dot on URL. I know I was hyped when I seen B-Dot come out.
Yeah.
And the crowd went crazy. Like, they really popped for him.
Yeah, I love that B-Dot too, because he kind of came out there and just...
Bars. Just bars.
Yeah,
First round.
He decided to leave the knowledge, the consciousness alone for a minute and showed the world, I can punch. I can punch very well.
Yes.
And this isn't difficult for me to punch. You know what I'm saying? Actually, Vlad, I got a chance to speak with B-Dot because Traffic 3 was the second event I started covering once I launched LTBR. This is actually pre-you, so this is actually before your era.
This is the solo era.
This is the solo era of LTBR before Vlad collided worlds with us and became the head honcho and the brand concierge that he is.
I appreciate those kind of words, player.
So
ain't no I in team.
I had an interview with B-Dot, and we talked right after the Emerson Kennedy battle, and I was telling him, like, yo, I'm really proud that you got up there and showed that you can adapt on URL, but you got to take me through your thought process in that second round, because people that make that crossover from King of the Dot to URL a lot of times have been successful, but passed with somebody that struggled very bad to make that transition. And Emerson Kennedy's first round was incredible, Vlad.
Yo, so after B-Dot's first round, right, I'm like, oh shit, let's get it popping. I'm like, this cat is going crazy. Crowd is going wild. Smoke all around the room. Smack is like, yeah, son, yeah, we got another one of these cats on our roster. And yo, Emerson Kennedy came back out and said, yo, this ain't about you right now, my brother. There's two of us here on this stage. I'm about to steal this shit right back from you. And friends, Emerson was bombing away. He matched B-Dot's energy. He matched his charisma. He matched the flow. He matched the punches. And I said, yo, this is how we're starting off the night. This is crazy right now.
It was probably one of the best battles to set a night off ever. Like, I can't to this day, I can't think of an event where, like, the first battle of the night set the event off so crazy, where, like, I'm watching it and I have no clue what's gonna happen, because B-Dot's first round, he has so many punches. It was so good. I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, he's home. What's Emerson gonna do here? And Emerson came out with the Street Fighter punchline, right? He's supposed to eat off organic, not let organic eat off of you. Like,
Matt, why is it support the black business until it comes to his rap interests. Because we've been building a black smack presence while he's KOTD in dance sessions, shooking and jiving for organic, showing how B-Dot shoot. Woke brother, we supposed to eat organic, not watch him eat off you, nigga. Hold on. I'm gonna fuck him up. This is smack. This is smack, right? This smack? This is smack. And the fans start to tout him over at LABG. They said there was something about him before Cortez on KOTD where he rapped 3 rounds of gun lines with a little substance at the end. And this who you put faith in to have conscience coming from his pen. First Danny, he spoke to the black queens on just how far choosing the right mate could take them. Then his next time in the ring, he sounded like all them niggas he warned y'all to stay away from, nigga, hold on. And that's why facts.
He sounded like all the niggas you warned him to stay away from.
Oh.
And then he was angling him too. Like, me personally, like, I don't say this about a lot of battles. This is a battle that I think deserves 1 million views.
No, absolutely, man. It's a shame that it doesn't have 1 million views, man. It's a shame, but this was one of them ones, man. Yo, watching that battle, I'm like, yo, Emerson Kennedy just came back, stole the thunder, and ran away at the finish line with the first round? Like, what's happening here right now?
Hold on.
What's going on?
I was that bad black kid doing what the Blast Mask did, passing rocks in front of the back of me. I was the original backpack kid.
Oh.
I will fuck him up.
I'm a fucking bomb. Yo, and I think the crowd was just as shocked too, because everybody is like, yeah, B-Dot, yeah. And then it was like, yo, what's happening here right now?
I think this is like B-Dot's been
Smack
in war,
was lost. Smack was completely lost, yo. Like,
here's the thing,
happening?
right? B-Dot is like, he had the name and he had the notoriety to like be in a ring with a top tier. Like talent wise, everybody respected him. Like there's no way Verb and Cortez are gonna take somebody with such a small condensed resume that hasn't proven anything if they didn't respect his lyricism. So B-Dot's been in wars and he's definitely been punched back in battles, but he's battling top tier names where he's not a top tier himself. So that's understandable. Ain't nothing wrong with Verb putting pressure on you. Verb's supposed to do that. But this time is like, you're making your debut, and now you have blood in your mouth. How do you respond?
Yo, he came bombing back in round 2, man. Like, he didn't let up either. He's back with more punches, more Pacoima talk, more gangster talk, more bars. Like, B-Dot was not letting up, man. He just kept firing back, and I'm like, all right. So B-Dot just came out here, threw his bolos, got blood put in his mouth and said, you know what? Spat the blood out and went to commence the pimp slapping in round 2, man. It was spitting fire, friends.
Yeah, it was incredible. And it actually put the pressure back on Emerson, where his second round wasn't as good as his first. And Emerson Kennedy kind of had the different game plan. He probably thought that he was going to control the entire momentum from that moment on. Rookie mistake. B-Dot, on the other hand, I guess he rode uphill because he knew that Emerson was going to take advantage of the opportunity just as much as he was, so he couldn't allow himself to have any moment where he lost steam. B-Dot rode completely uphill while Emerson Kennedy peaked at the first round, and then you have this third round from B-Dot that, honestly, that this entire battle, I think is his career high, personally. I also think that this was the battle that kind of defined who he was as a battler. I'm like, yo, this is a guy that if he wants to punch with you, he can get in that bag. If he wants to angle you, he can get in that bag. If he's not going to let the pressure make him fold, he can do that. And more importantly, he can create a moment. Because that third round against Smack, he had Smack looking a little uncomfortable, baby.
Smack and Beasley both was like, oh, shit.
Hey, look, I figured you out. I'm supposed to be happy to be on this stage. Of course, you Smack. Look, I support black business, but black business got to support you back. And look where they got you at. Back in the PGs, just happy to be promoted. Y'all notice he retired from battle rap, got rehired by Smack, but then demoted? You bogus. You bogus. You bogus. You bogus. My nigga, you bogus. My nigga, you bogus. You're up here sleepwalking, losing focus. I'm swinging on you left and right. You're getting clocked out of hypnosis, but let's focus.
on these money-hungry league owners. Beasley had a problem with Diz saying nigga, or that's what he told us, but let's expose this, because I was like, oh, that's wild. I guess as long as you getting money bags, you'll allow a white boy to say nigga on your stage in front of an all-black crowd.
That wasn't perfectly crafted?
And then the whole plantation joint where he's like, it only counts on this plantation. I said, yo.
I don't see the manipulation. I mean, your fans don't ever say shit. Look, I rock with Rock, but look how they plantation. Oh. They got him locked and caged in. Can't go to other leagues, get the cheese, and that don't make sense. I mean, it's being rewarded. The same trick that got us boarded on slave ships, the European invasion, capitalism, they ain't changed it. The old master says you ain't going nowhere. The new master says it only matters on this plantation. Damn, I get goosebumps just reading this round.
That is some amazing ass writing. Yo, how the hell did he... Yo, shout out to Ben Swayze. How did he pack Tay-Rock up in them bars like that? Like, what did Rock do to you? Yo, and that's a battle I wouldn't mind seeing, man, at some point. Tay-Rock versus B-Dot. That would be kind of fire. But, yo, friends, just goes to show you how good this battle was. Round 2, I actually had Emerson Kennedy by a paper sheet edging out round 2, right? And, you know, most people, by the time you win arguably 2 rounds, it's like, oh, the battle's in the bag. But no. B-Dot had a 3rd round KO. The first rounds were close enough that 3rd round from B-Dot was just a knockout round. And Emerson didn't have enough in that 3rd anyway. Like, his 3rd was just like a letdown from the first 2. So it was like, oh man, there's a clear difference between your first 2 rounds. And this guy had probably his all-time round. Like, from the writings to the angle to the impact to where it was at, from everything that happened, it was just perfectly crafted. So even if someone tried to have Emerson winning the battle, B-Dot won the war with that one, man. And that 3rd round was just flawless, man. Amazing battle to set off the night.
I think the best thing about it is they both kind of like looked at each other, laughed, and like dapped it up on some like, we both evolved from this, and we're both getting called backs from this.
Absolutely, man.
You know, and check this out. That's the appetizer of your night.
That's how you start the night off. Now that's that. If you're gonna have a surprise battle, it better be something like that, man. Like, don't waste our time, man. After you see a surprise battle like that, you're like, this is what I needs to see if you're trying to put 2 guys on display.
Hey, look, I love Loso, and I think having a PG on Nome is historic, but that performance doesn't measure up to what D-Dot did in that traffic room.
It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Going back to some more storylines of the card, right? I want to touch on 3 guys that had back-to-backs this battle, right? Because Traffic 3 was a week after Pearly Gates won in RBE in New York.
Yep.
So DNA battle Big Cannon, Ill Will battle Daylight, and JC battle Ilmac. So they're having a back-to-back battle on RBE. 7 days later, they're battling on URL. Fatigue was a major concern.
Absolutely.
And I think it actually showed on all 3 of these guys, believe it or not. I mean, Vlad, we talk about all the time, just to travel back-to-back is tiring.
From east to west. I used to make them trips frequently, France. And I used to have to take a day off from work when I came back just to like decompress, sleep, and get my mind right, man. Like, these guys are jumping off a plane and performing an album's worth of material in front of a rabid crowd that's there to go crazy. Like,
7 days apart.
It's crazy, man. But it definitely showed, man. And one battle that it clearly showed on to me was DNA versus Rum Nitty, man. Like, this wasn't the DNA that like you always see. Like, the energy was zapped from him in that battle in a way you could tell.
Yeah, let's get into that, because DNA battling Big Cannon and DNA were going back and forth for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
And Big Cannon is coming off the Danger Zone battle out in RBE. He just headline Writers Volume 1. By the way, incredible battle. Underrated battle. Doesn't get enough credit. I think it was a top 10 battle of the year. So Big Cannon is still in that like spotlight where he is dangerous and underrated, and he's waiting for that shot. And DNA is already pretty much established as a great at this point, but he has no problem reestablishing himself. So he has a I don't want to say career high performance. He thinks it's a career high personally for himself. I personally don't think so. But he had a powerful performance against Big Cannon, and he made a statement in that win. Like, it almost like he put all his energy to that Big Cannon battle. Rum Nitty come around, he's like, I'll just punch a Rum Nitty. And you can't win. You can't win that way.
He put Big Cannon's body bag in a body bag. Like, that one was nasty. Like, crazy, right? Crazy performance. And you're like, damn, if he did this for Big Cannon, what he gonna have for Rum Nitty? You're thinking he's gonna take it to the next level. And we've seen DNA do this a couple of times where when the fatigue factor hits him, like, he'll have the bars written there. And if you're just reading them on paper, you're like, oh, this ain't bad material. Like, this, I'm not mad at this material. But when it's not performed in the same fashion that you're used to, the same energy that you're used to, the same aggression that you're used to, and you see him standing on the stage kind of like, all right, man, I'm just trying to get through this battle. You feel me? And it just wasn't the same thing. And Rum Nitty, it wasn't even the best Rum Nitty that we've seen either. I've even since then, like, he's elevated his game performance-wise, bar-wise, delivery-wise also. But Rum Nitty came to show out, and the fans were definitely there for him. They were there to see him do his thing, and they were eating up everything that he was dropping.
This was Rum Nitty's first time getting a home game since 2015, Traffic 1. Let me read you this tweet, Vlad, that I had in 2017, way back when.
Yikes. You saving your own tweets, player?
I had, just for this pod, man, I had to pull it up. I had to pull up the file. I had a prediction. I said, DNA has a back-to-back. I predict he will defeat Big Cannon because he normally does well in grudge matches and opportunities where he has to angle, but will struggle against Rum Nitty, a pure puncher.
Hey, listen, man.
How did that age? That aged pretty well.
This is why you're the Oracle, player. This is why you are France the Oracle, man.
So,
you know what I mean?
And the way I predicted it is exactly how it kind of turned out. I'm not even trying to toot my own horn. It's just Rum Nitty is a guy that behind the curtains, Cortez has told us, DNA's told us, a lot of people have told us, he's a very difficult opponent to write for. So if you're not going to put together all the components of battle rap that's away from a punchline to try to beat this guy, and you try to beat him with a punchline, you're already going down in the battle losing. Plus, Rum Nitty won a redemption from the JC loss. So, Rum Nitty is just too good of a guy, in my opinion, to go on a losing streak.
And he was out west, man. Like, you're not trying to take a loss. They rarely get home games and rarely get home games on URL. So it's like, for him to have taken a loss there, it would have made him look crazy. So you know he was coming to show out.
When Rum set the bar,
it's a bag on your head, like a death row piece, Pete. Nigga, so for the record, it's a bag on your head, like a death row piece, Pete. We bring burners through, 100 shots, get the whole scene served in groups. You should get me versus Mook, because if you can get rid of DNA, you could probably beat murder too. I spray him.
I think that was like a defining moment where it's like, I figured this shit out, because against JC, against Rock, I fucked up on the big stage, and yeah, maybe I'm home, so you're gonna try to like downplay it, but I'm cooking, and you can't take this win away from me.
Nah, not at all, man. Put the bleach on the mop. That's how you get rid of DNA.
Oh.
He's going crazy in that battle, son. Like, he wasn't even all the way there yet. Like, he ain't even figured it all the way out yet, man.
You know what I loved about that battle? At one point when DNA is like, I'm 26, and then Rum looks at him and goes, you 26?
He's been in the game so long. Facts, man.
DNA said, yeah, in front of DNA, but why? Because I'm 26 and accomplished more than a lot of other niggas. And then Rummy goes, 26? Damn.
Shocked.
He's like, damn, what?
He looked shocked, boy.
When what else did he say to him? He was like, I hate you bitches. If I catch a player slipping 100 in the clip, getting ADD, pay attention.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Too many of them, man. Too many of them.
It was so much. G Check, as soon as the kid came out, he got depressed. I get you and your nigga hit Gauge the pump. Gauge the pump, engage. Oh my God, engage. There's so much. It's too much.
Too many of them.
Another battle that also had a back-to-back was JC and T-Top. And this is also a weekend for me that made me realize, all right, maybe battling back-to-back isn't always the smartest thing.
I mean, we know that JC's conditioned to do it, but you also know that you're never going to get the best JC ever. Like, if you
the best anybody ever, really, in my opinion.
Well, super facts. That I concur with that. This is a mental game, and your brain needs to rest at times. And I know we got a lot of road warriors out there. We got guys like Geechee, who can go out every week. You got guys like Danny who will go out every week if they need to. DNA, drugs. But, you never get these guys at their total best when they're doing this thing every week. And for a guy like T-Top, who's an angled king, who's got the charisma, who's got the personality, and you've got JC, who's known mainly for the bars, and you're like, man, you're going to have to really put on a show for this cat T-Top. And T-Top is just resting, chilling, waiting, because people are telling him, you're battling JC. JC is the bar king. He's got the bars. How you going to beat him? And he said, all right, y'all just sit back and watch this. And T-Top put on one of them performances, man, that you just always will remember.
Yeah, it definitely did. The storyline of this time was JC is coming off his back-to-back with Ilmac, and JC just came off a 3 in a row on URL, and the Lux campaign has been birthed. I mean, it kind of started at the beginning of the year, but it's red hot now, Vlad. Like, if this is a time period where if JC literally had just sat down, or maybe not battled after Ilmac, because against Ilmac he was really good, and I personally feel like Ilmac won. Not clear, but I feel like he won. And more importantly, going toe to toe with Ilmac ain't no slight.
Ilmac's a legend, man.
Ilmac's a legend. Like, Ilmac's somebody that I also want to see go against Lux. So like, I'm watching that battle. Like, all right, well, if JC just stops right here, he can get Lux. But no, he goes after T-Top and tries to continue on to add to this list, and it backfires. And I think T-Top was the beginning of the end for the Lux campaign.
Absolutely. And T-Top took it one step further. He already had his angles for JC. He already had his bars. Man, he brought out a dance interpreter in the third round to act out his bars. We know that JC is a phenomenal dancer, break dancer, and pop locker. He pops himself, but he doesn't dance in his own battles. And it was just hitting, man. T-Top brought out a dance interpreter, acted out his bars. The crowd loved it. They went crazy. It kind of shut JC down, and it was a clear win for T-Top. And then people are like,
now, in fact, we can call this a classic if you like, but I'm whipping JC like the passion of the crowd. This a body. Don't call it the battle of the night. And for the record, dog, you about to have a battle where I stab him with a knife. Fuck it, it's smack problems. I had to slip this in to leave him with back problems. Punchline was going to come through and slack box him. I had to tell him, chill, PC. Mac got him. Come on, nigga. Fuck is they talking?
You want Lux and you just lost to Top? You just lost to Mac? Like, you serious right now? Like, what's going on here? And then ever since then, that Lux talk.
It also put a real, it put an interesting stain, because the people JC was beating at the time were people he was gatekeeping for. And I mean, prior to his return on URL in 2017, we already knew JC was a phenomenal gatekeeper,
Right.
And so, like, beating a Chef Trez, beating a Chess, and even beating a Rum Nitty before, him reaching his powers that he has now. Like, that doesn't equate to being in front of Ilmac or T-Top, guys that are top tiers. So once you got in front of those top tiers, you lose in almost clear fashion. So it's almost like, wait, if you're losing to these top tiers in clear fashion.
Right. You go from winning in dominant fashion while you're gatekeeping to losing in clear fashion.
Against a higher level.
It's like, really? And now you want...
Plus the Cigarello shirt with the t-shirt underneath.
This was
I can't
the
believe
battle.
I can't believe I had to be the one to mention this and you didn't.
Oh, listen, man. I don't want the disciples coming at me too crazy, but France, you all right. This was the battle where he had a medium white tee underneath an extra small black Al Capone cigarello tee, looking crazy on the stage, might I add, looking like a badass toddler out there, and got his dumb ass smoked in that battle. But yeah, that was a bad night for JC.
I concur, my friend. I sincerely do. I also want to point out just T-Top being an angle master. You know, he had the loss to Goods early, like when he had his first like co-main event on Gnome 7, because he already headlined a Gnome prior to that. Then, you know, he's battling Av, who he was an underdog to. He beats Av in clear fashion in the building, then beats JC, and now it's kind of like, oh, we got to remember T-Top isn't underrated. He's actually supposed to be one of these guys, you know.
Right. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with getting into dog fights with Surf and dog fights with Goods, you know what I mean, and standing your own, and even having some people say that you won the battle. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting when you put guys on a scale of competition levels, right? Because when you put T-Top in front of Surf and Goods, like you said, he's having dog fights with them. Maybe they're outclassing him in certain areas. But then when you bring him down to battle Av, and I don't want to say...
He beats them clearly.
I don't want to say down for JC, because him and JC career-wise, you can argue who's above who. But, I mean, clearly JC's not Goods at Surf. So you bring down his competition bar, he finds a game plan and beats these guys.
Right. He's either always in the fight or he's winning.
Facts.
You feel me? So salute to T-Top, man. One of the guys who I feel like is undervalued in this game. I will say it every single time, man. I will wave the flag for T-Top. T-Top, you are needed in this game, man. And every time you come out to perform, you always show out and you always bring an entertainment factor, and you are an intangible in this game, and we need you, brother. So keep on doing what you're doing, man, and keep on killing, brother. Haymaker Cannabis in stores now.
And his style, oh man, he would have loved to have had his business for Traffic 3, right? What a flourish back then.
Hello.
His style is just so like
unique.
It's so unique, and if you really put it on paper, it's really difficult to compete with guys that are trying to be lyrical or throw haymakers at you. But yeah, he finds a way to overpower them and be strategic and take the calculated risk that always plays out in his advantage.
Absolutely.
The other back-to-back, Shotgun Sugar and Ill Will. Yeah, the most forgettable battle about this card.
Yeah. Like Will was trying, you know what I'm saying, and he was landing some at times too. But the fatigue factor be there. And then Suge just wasn't in his top form in this battle. It was like, all right.
You know what I feel like this battle was? I feel like this battle was one of those that you put on paper that all the league owners would be like, I gotta book this. But Suge and Ill Will both look at each other like, bro, I'm really not excited to battle you. Yeah, me neither. But I mean, the league's won us, so we could get a check. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, man, I come out to Cali, get some great weed. You got all kind of exotic women out there. The weather's nice. It's on URL. Take the check. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really much to remember from that battle, and it's sad to gloss over it this way, but it was the most forgettable battle on the card. And plus, Ill Will was coming. He was fire against Daylight.
Right.
And against Suge. But then there's no excuse for Suge to be pedestrian because Ill Will had
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't understand why Suge was just so normal in the battle.
So we're more critical on Suge than Will.
Absolutely. If anything, France, we always say, listen, when you got two respected MCs who are going to battle, sometimes there's nothing wrong with hollering at the guy and saying, yo, listen, man, I got a back-to-back. I need you to come through. This is a concerted effort. We're putting on a performance together. This is a collaboration. Like, yo, don't sell this battle short. You know what I'm saying? Like, come out there and try to kill me. Like, try to put on, because the last thing we need is for people to just gloss over this battle and be like, oh, this joint was all right. Like, Suge really should have tried to take advantage and really put on out there. You're out there in the West. That's the home land of Grape Street. Like, you really supposed to put on and go crazy, but it was a very pedestrian battle from Suge, man. I was low key kind of surprised.
Yeah, I was too. Danny Myers and Glue Easy, the replacement battle tonight, actually was a little bit more memorable than that battle. And
you got 10 kids at home. Who watching them?
I know you love that bar.
I love that bar, man.
I mean, because it's kind of true, right? You have all these children, if they live with you, and you're doing all this stuff, and you're so engaged in the battle rap, where's the time to be a parent?
Oh no, bro. It's a lot of baby mamas out there, you know what I'm saying, handling them kids for him. So somebody's watching them. But what I love though was that Danny actually used that against was that Unique Bars?
Yeah.
And he was killing her about, you got 4 kids at home. Who watching them?
100 guns, 100 clips. I never seen one empty. On the west side, ready to die. Like a young white Biggie, but who's stopping them? Catch him in Vegas, I'm Tupac-ing them. Def Leppard, that one-arm drumming, but glue rocking them. Mufasa, glue dropping them. Yeah, you lose oxygen. You got 10 kids at home right now. Who watching them?
Danny was angling in that battle, bringing back a theme over and over again. And I thought he was going to do the same thing versus Glue Easy. I'm like, you know, you got a albino white rapper that you're battling on short notice, which should be no excuse for Danny Myers because he's known for, you know, battling week after week after week. And I'm like, yo, you got kind of like, not an alley-oop, but this is something that you could work with right here. Like, you can definitely get busy against Glue Easy. And yo, lo and behold, I was shocked as hell. Glue Easy came out there like he had the point to prove. He had to put it down. He just had a fire round versus one of the West Coast's best, Geechee Gotti. And they're like, oh, you giving me another one? And it's on the West Coast? Oh, I'm lit. Let's rock. He had a whole game plan. He had everything formulated. And he came out and executed exactly how he was supposed to versus Danny Myers.
When Glue was like, where's your crew, Daniel? My two put 2 in Daniel. 2 hands will twist up your dogs like balloon animals.
That's when Glue Easy was like, he was on his grizzly at that point, man.
Listen, Glue Easy at that time was like, you give me the shot, I'm taking it. Close range. and well executed by Glue for sure.
Absolutely.
Another battle on the traffic card that I want to touch on. Now we're really getting to the meat and potatoes of this. Seven battles of the card. 3 of them went platinum, Vlad. Obviously, JC and Top went platinum. This one went platinum, and this one actually had no business probably going platinum, if you think about it. Geechee Gotti versus Av. I mean,
one of my favorites, man.
Of course, I mean, retroactively, you can look back and be like, "Oh, this is incredible! This is a great match on paper." Yeah, at the time, this was one of the battles. At the time, you're like, "It's a filler. It's a filler of the card." You know, it was literally at the bottom of the flyer.
That's when people didn't know. I mean, they knew Geechee was good. They knew that he was someone to look forward to.
They didn't know he could be great yet.
Av could exactly. No one knew that he was going to be champion of the year quality. They just knew like, yo, this is someone who's new, someone who's refreshing, and someone who's dope, right? And they're like, oh, okay, he gets a nice name at home. Cool. Let's see what he does. And Av is always known as a barsmith, a lyricist, and like he said, you know, they had brought out Rum Nitty as the guy who was supposed to take out Av, right? Av was like, damn, son, Rum Nitty was supposed to make his name off of me. They turned out having a classic. Then they're like, yo, man, you know, we didn't really execute our plan with Rum Nitty. You know, you guys ended up having a classic, so that's great. How about we try this again and throw our brand new West Coast gunner at you and see if he can complete the job? And France, these guys ended up with another classic, dog.
You know
it was crazy.
You know what's really crazy? That Av was the A side, but was almost being undervalued because of his loss from T-Top. Like he was damn near a favorite against T-Top, and he was a more bigger name. He had more experience. He'd been on already, 2 Gnomes and the Summer Madness.
Right.
he's battling Geechee in the West, and all of a sudden he did the Twitter polls. Geechee was supposed to win, and I'm like, wait, we haven't seen anything from Geechee yet. How do we know he's good? Like,
the West Coast gonna ride for the West Coast, man.
was this
for
the birth of the Geechee Gotti Can't Go Wrong campaign? Like,
listen, Geechee Gotti will never lose a prediction. He'll never lose a battle. He'll never lose a reaction poll. He's never gonna lose.
But this is a time where he had
vote
no.
on the
This
app.
is a time where he had no business winning a poll.
Let me tell you something, man. The West Coast guys, they all get together and they say, listen, this is who we riding for now. You guys understand? Now everyone get in formation, get your ass on Twitter, and vote for Geechee Gotti. And the West Coast said, copy, heard you. And they clicked on Geechee Gotti, brother. And yo, they weren't wrong, man. This guy is one of those guys now. So they picked a good one to stand behind and to ride for. This battle was epic, man. What my man Av said, like a bitch who ride dick too good, man. I came from the bottom. I said, oh my God, what is going on right now, yo?
The West Coast crowd absolutely loved Av. Like they were just completely in his energy. They damn near had the battle of the best battle of the card, honestly. You know,
yeah. Between that and Emerson and B-Dot, it's crazy.
Right. You think I'm playing? Let me send some shit from his hood at me. You get nutty. You get your nutty buddies in the box like Lil Debbie.
Yeah. Yo, France, let me tell you something though. If you go back and watch that battle, right?
Yeah.
I don't think, that crowd and the reaction they were giving Geechee forced Av to turn up. I think this was one of those battles where Av felt like, the pressure is really on right now. I'm in his hood. The crowd is going crazy. And if I'm just here slapping my thighs and just delivering this any old ways, it can look crazy. You know what I'm saying? Live in the building. You go back and comb through the bars, you're always going to find stuff with Av, no matter what. But this was one of them ones where the crowd was so hyped and going so crazy that he had to step the energy up, the delivery up, the crowd engagement up, and he was on his A game this battle, man.
He was. I always had a take on this battle that I felt was kind of strong, but I always felt like the comparisons were so powerful. I always told you this, and I said it in the past. Geechee Gotti and Av is just the hybrid modern version of Heartless and Suge. And I know at first you're going to be like, because you think of Heartless as like somebody who's not as aggressive, and Suge is more like, more performance heavy than angle, street talk, real talk heavy. But the parallel between the two is that you have a pure puncher versus a Crip that wants to talk street shit. And the style clash was so good, and both punches were on the road in each battle.
Right.
So there's a lot of little comparisons. You're just like, obviously you're gonna say the personalities you can't compare, but just for textbook, for textbook
if
context,
you're talking textbook style wise, I hear you, player. I hear you on that.
But this is obviously a way better version of what that could have ever been.
That battle was so good, and that was like. That's when Geechee was just delivering all them little street tales and them little idioms and all that. And you're just like, this guy's got all kinds of crazy street tales going on right now, man. And the punches were just all mixed in there. The star power was there. Delivery was there. And he had the whole place rocking. This was one of them ones, man. One of Geechee's best performances of all time.
Hey, Avi, you dead. Ain't no coming back. Yeah, I fuck with cuz. I ain't fronting that, but Smack said kill him. So guess who I'm gunning at? No hard feelings. Think Al Capone cigarillos. Nigga, we only smoking you because of Smack, nigga. Hey, every day. He like, man, I ain't stressing never. Even when he found out his mama died. And that was his saddest letter. See, the streets raised cuz. The streets raised cuz. His daddy been in jail forever. The first time them niggas even met, they was in the cell together. See, I'm with whatever.
Yeah, definitely this was the one that kind of said, oh, well, he can be a star in this game, you know. And he also had his coming out party with his third round here. He's still actually rapping with his eyes closed, and obviously he's home, so he has that big advantage to him. But that didn't rattle Av. More importantly, that made everybody respect Av, and Geechee also had to just say, well, just because I'm home doesn't mean I could just rely on the crowd to lift me up. Exactly. You know?
Yeah, because Av put the pressure back on him. It's like, yo, man, this out-of-towner is here making this place go crazy. Like,
I ain't cocky. I'm just a nigga trained for the problems. Shit, I used to drown my pain with a bottle. Got on my hustle, then became by the dollar. You know the motto. Like a bitch on top, riding too good. Shit, I came from the bottom. I'm nothing.
You know, I know that the people are here to support me, but they're not just going to give me this battle. Like, I'm going to have to earn this one also. And he turned up, man. It made for such an amazing battle. I love when you get the perfect crowd engagement. Ain't too much, you know what I'm saying, meat chewing going on. Like, people are reacting accordingly. Like, everyone is just turned up, all for the right bars at the right time. Like, nothing was over the top. It was just perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, for sure. And they got a platinum battle out the mud.
Earned it.
Hell yeah, they earned it.
Earned it, man. There was no gas in that one. And I love to see when two guys get a platinum plaque out of the mud, man. Like, you know, because going into this battle, it's not like this battle was heavily promoted and URL was putting all the marketing and advertisement dollars behind this one. Like you said, they weren't at the top of the card or anything like that.
We didn't even know what Geechee could have really been. Like, this was like, oh, this guy could be a star. We don't know yet. Like, we weren't sure, and they took the biggest. You know what? This is my conspiracy.
Okay, I'm here for this.
I think URL hedged this entire battle. I think they said, well, Av's more experience. Av just had a loss of Summer Madness where he was supposed to be the favorite. We can't let Av lose steam. Let's take him on the road to battle somebody that doesn't punch with him, so he has a lyrical advantage. But Geechee Gotti has a bunch of potential. So if Geechee can fight through this style clash, and if we can see Geechee rock a crowd in his home base, we get to check off every single X. Can Geechee perform? Can Av battle on the road? Can Geechee rise to the occasion? Can Av bounce back? You know, so if Av would have won this battle clearly, it would have been like, well, we got Av back. And if Geechee lost, I mean, this is Geechee coming off of the Stewie and Glue battle. Like, I mean, if he would have lost here and his career ended here, we're not boo-hooing yet.
Right.
But if you get both these guys to elevate, then you get two guys out the mud. I think they hedged this entire situation.
Win-win, player. Damn, man. Geechee was on a streak, man, at that point when you think about it. Because you're talking about, I mean, he went crazy versus Stewie Newton. Like, he got him out of here.
All the way.
All the way out of here.
All
like,
the way.
Clearly, out of the picture, out of the margins. Crop them out of here. Glue Easy.
Put him in the mid-tier purgatory.
Oh, my goodness. Went crazy on him. Then he had Glue Easy, went crazy on him. Then he had Av, went crazy on him. And then his next few battles just kept elevating, getting crazier and crazier and crazier. This is, when you look back on this streak that he was having, people are going to go, son really put on, B. Like, he really earned his.
Yeah, they're going to retroactively be like, oh, I knew he could be a star. But that's not.
No. But I'm talking about when you're just looking at performance after performance after performance. You're
there were still a lot of concerns though. There was still like, can he open his eyes when he fucking raps? Can he battle away from his home? Like, there were still concerns.
No, for sure, absolutely. But as you look at how he transitioned from each battle, you just saw the transformation happening each battle. Man, it was a nice run.
The main event, Vlad, Rock and Disaster.
Ugh.
Platinum battle off of the strength of their names and reputations.
Yeah.
A little bit of highlights in certain rounds, but just too long, too drawn out, too late in the night, and too aggressive of a style clash for it to kind of blend together.
It was too friendly.
It was too friendly as well. That was very odd. I didn't expect to see that because Disaster is very like...
It was too friendly, too laid back. Tay-Rock wasn't in his super aggressive bag as we normally see him.
I didn't like
Disaster
Tay-Rock's outfit.
Yeah, man. The Denver Nuggets gun titles jersey.
It was not
in
it.
Cali. Like, you couldn't get a Cali jersey, bro. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, and just his aggression just wasn't there.
I pay him to leave your head wrapped, dead, or my can in the dump. The chopper heavy. I had the Packer stand in the trunk. I leave an Iraqi nigga from Pakistan in the trunk. You an Eminem fan. I literally pack a stand in the trunk. Like bombs. Like.
I think, he smoked a lot of that Cali weed, and he said it himself. It just had him so relaxed and so laid back that he just couldn't deliver the bars the way that he normally does, And Disaster had a whole different cadence and voice in this battle. Like, it wasn't the same Diz that we normally see. And it's like, I've seen Diz apply pressure. I've seen Diz turn up. I've seen Diz get into his lyrical miracle bag, his multi bag, his aggressive bag.
Cave gang in my face. See, that's the shit I don't like. Because it's all hype. We already know that he won't fight. Talking all this Bat Cave bullshit to me like I don't know what his world like. Bitch, my last name Bin Laden. I've been with this cave business my whole life. Right. This is my shit.
And I didn't get the diss that I was banking on getting in this battle, like, at all, Tay-Rock was cool. Like, he wasn't bad. But it just wasn't the turn-up Tay-Rock. And especially coming off that Hollow to Dawn battle. If you're comparing these two battles, you're like, yo, what happened to that pressure? Like, what happened?
It's like night and day almost.
Absolutely, man.
And I felt like it was strange because, like, when they were judging Champion of the Year panel, they kept saying, like, yeah, Disaster lost to Rock. Rock beat him, but it wasn't a good performance. And then I'm like, well, what are we measuring things off? Because, like, I guess if we're holding Rock to this anomaly of giving us an amazing performance, then I hear that. He still went to Cali and beat a West Coast legend in his backyard. I guess maybe that was diminished because of Disaster's 2017. Like, I think this is something that needs to really be talked about in the history books when we talk about Disaster. His 2017, he was not good. Like, he lost to Sirius Jones, he lost to Hollow, he lost to Oxy, and he lost to The Rock. He had 4 mega matches or 4 premier matches all fucking year long. And he lost them all, and that's just that gets swept under the rug.
It does. Although I did like him in the Hollow battle, though I did like him in that one. But the other battles, the Sirius Jones battle, was just kind of like, what's going on here? Like, yeah, very much so.
It was
got
cringy.
like
You had a cringy battle.
Fight? Like, what's happening here?
A cringy battle,
Please
a one-round
turn this
surprise. A one-round surprise.
One-round surprise was fire.
It was good, but it's one round. And then you lose to a guy whose English is his third language, and then you're back on URL for a second time, and you bomb again. Like, now we're really concerned if you can even adapt to this platform.
Yeah, the thing is, like, he was never so bad that you were just like, this is trash, get him out of here, or whatever. But it just was like, Diz, man, we know who you are, and we know what you could be. Like, why are you under-delivering right now?
I think Diz needs to, believe it or not, he needs to take himself out of his own head. Like, I think Disaster's reached a point of his career where he probably deep down inside, he not even doubts himself, but he deep down inside.
No, I said battling himself.
Oh, that too. But he probably thinks to himself, if I'm not headlining a card, I can't be on it. And you should know at this point in time, especially for the events you've been a part of, late King of the Dot events, late URL events, do you really want the value of having your name at the top of a flyer over an energetic crowd? Like, at this point in your career, is that what matters the most to you? The events built around you, or do you want to have a good performance? Because if you're just gonna keep selling me your name with a performance that doesn't match anything of your peak, I'm not gonna be as invested into you. If you put Disaster to go 3rd or 4th on the URL stage, I think you get a whole different Disaster, as opposed to putting him 7th or 8th.
Absolutely. You get a Diz that's still engaged. You get a crowd that's still rocking with everything. And I think you see a whole other Diz, like you said, man. He's going to turn up. He's going to show out.
He feeds off of energy, literally. Like, he's a guy that if anybody needs the crowd more than anybody, it's him, because he's not one of those guys that, like, he has good content. He's a phenomenal rapper, but if there's no engagement, you kind of don't really appreciate his art in a quiet room because he gets flustered by the lack of participation.
I think, I think that Diz of late he's been writing like a lot. Like his rounds have been pretty lengthy, almost to the point where he's like, yo, I'm going to show off right now and show you how long I can rhyme and show you how long I can draw these schemes out. Where we're like, Diz, we've seen you where you've condensed everything and you just bombed on cats and got them out of here. Look at the Jonai battle. He didn't have to rap for 30 minutes in that round. He didn't have to do none of that stuff. Got straight to the point, clowned him, bombed on him, flexed on him, showed some lyrical dexterity, as they say, and then got up out of there. I think this just has to get back to doing that. I mean, even versus what's his name, Cali Smooth, he went off on that cat, but it was a 1-round battle where he went for like I don't know how many minutes, and it's like, yo, Diz, man, just get back in the pocket and get these guys out of here, dog. Like that's what we want to see. Get back to being Diz, and I think we missed that in this Tay-Rock battle because I was like, yo, man, he's going back on URL. He's back on the West Coast this time. He can't say, oh, it's my transition and okay, I got to get used to the URL crowd. You're at home. Like you're at home and you always wanted to battle in front of this kind of crowd because this kind of crowd reminds you of who you used to battle in front of at the pit where you said it was the most real. So I had different expectations from Diz in this battle and it was a letdown for me.
Yeah, I concur with you, Vlad. Just Summer Madness 6 was also like maybe, I want to say less than 8 weeks away. So I'm sure you put any battle rapper's assignment to battle Holla the Don and Disasters 7 weeks apart, anybody's going to have some kind of hurdles with their content there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Let's get to the categories of this event. This is the fun part.
Let's do it, player.
Categories. What's aged the best?
Yeah, freaking B-Dot round. I can still play that and still get the goosebumps every single time I play that third round, B.
Really?
Yo, every single time I play that third round, I still get the same feeling I get when I watched it, man.
For me, what's aged the best is T-Top's round against JC because, like...
Which one, with the dancer?
Let me tell you why. Although I'm not a big fan of all the stoppage because T-Top T-Top and JC, like T-Top, I don't know if he inherited JC's style for that day. Like he stopped so much in his content, but it aged so well because if I made a documentary of why JC no longer deserves Lux and why JC can never reach the next level of his career, the next echelon, it's gonna start with the T-Top round against JC.
Ouch.
I mean, I'm not saying that he can't, but I'm saying if I were to do that,
I hear you, player.
That's where it pretty much starts, and it's like, oh, from this moment on, he was never the same.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
And I mean, since that moment on, he's battled 22 times.
Oh, yikes!
When you put it on paper, you probably start to realize why he's a bit fatigued and his pen doesn't seem to be as potent. So, what's aged the worst for you?
I mean, from that joint, I never went back and watched the Will and Suge battle, and I'm damn sure not going back and watching Rock and Diz.
Damn, for me, what's aged the worst? I have a couple things that aged really bad from that event. One of them being obviously like the way NWX and EFB go back and forth because like DNA face to face with Rum Nitty, we kind of seen the results,
right?
You know?
Right. But listen, I hear you on that, but I'll say this: a fully fresh DNA. Fully prepped, fully hyped up. I don't think the battle goes as one-sided as it went in this battle. I don't think so. I think DNA is too good. Like, if he was just totally fresh, and this is no excuse. I'm not making any excuses. I mean, Rum Nitty won the battle, clear. Like, I'm not making any excuses. But I think if you get a fresh, fully motivated DNA, like, it's a different battle.
Well, my second thing is Age of the Worst, which probably should have been my number one because this really aged bad. Is just the entire headliner of this event.
You mean Diz and Tay-Rock?
Everything about it. Like, there was no promo. Like you said, it was friendly. The content wasn't good. They were, I don't want to say fatigued, but they both were coming off of really big matches that kind of probably left them a little bit like lack of energy, lack of space to really create to their maximum potential. So,
and you know what else too? You got to think about this. The whole night, we're going on an incline. We're like, yo, the apex is here. Just bring it home. It's literally on y'all to bring home a classic. And they kind of let everything down. Like, they let the air out of the balloon. They let the air out of the balloon. It's like, yo, if I knew this battle was going to go down like this, I would have left right before this battle started. I would go outside, get me some fresh air.
You know what else aged the best? The Al Capone Cigarello curse.
JC looked crazy in that shirt, son. Looked crazy. How do you have a size large underneath a size small tee? Like, what are you doing, my man?
Yeah,
Yo, he got dragged for that joint on live for like a couple of weeks. I remember that joint.
It's like, was it really worth the extra couple bucks?
Yo, why did he just take off the white tee? Like, it's LA, it's hot already. Take off the big ass white tee underneath and just rock the black one.
You know
like,
something we didn't mention. Suge and Will. Suge wore LOM, so he's getting a little.
He did, yeah.
He's getting a little check from Hollow.
Got a little check for that, yeah.
And Will also wore his Al Capone with a bucket hat. So it's like, was the battle content being weak worth your pockets being longer?
Oh man, dude's looking crazy.
Yeah. So that's definitely what's aged the best and worst from this event. Another thing that's aged the best, Avocado directing, which is still relevant to this day.
Listen, man, let me tell you something. France, we were there at Guardians of the Culture. This man turned a basketball gym into something that looked magnificent. I forgot we were at a basketball gym. Like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, is this the same place I was at? Like, he works magic, man.
He pretty much turned it into Smack Volume.
Pretty much, man. It looked crazy. Phenomenal. If you were there, you would be like, nah, this ain't the same place I was at. This is crazy.
Yeah. So those are the things that aged the best and the worst. Which battle from this event has the most replay value? So out of all the battles that dropped from Traffic 3, which is the one you're going to go back to watch first?
Oh, Av and Geechee all day.
Yeah, same here. That million views was earned in the fucking
Av and
mud.
Geechee all day long. All day long.
And I think it's a testament to them. There's certain battles, Vlad, that, like, when it hits a mill, I can't describe it. I think you'll only know this if you're in the culture. It hits a mill, and you say to yourself, that one earned it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that one really, like, these aren't two names that are going to pop up and average a mill, but the content here lets me know that this one is worth that mill, because there's some battles with 2 commas in it that aren't good.
Facts. And it's just good to see that, the average, commercial fan, the casual fan got a chance to see this and to enjoy it, man. And that's what I love, because, you're always going to get your top name guys who, that the casual fans always get to see. But when you see 2 guys really come from the mud and really put in that work and earn it, and the casual fans get to enjoy it and get put onto them, like, I'm always happy for those guys in that moment.
Oh, you know something?
What up?
Can I revert back?
What's up?
I have something that aged the best.
What?
K-Shine's child being born the day of Traffic 3, because it fast forward to give us Danny Myers and K-Shine on Volume 1.
You stupid, man. I still can't believe Danny Myers said K-Shine is ducking me because he went to go see his child get born. How is he ducking you? You sound crazy, man.
He does sound crazy.
You gotta love Danny's dedication to the game, though, man. Where he thinks you going to see a child being born is ducking.
Lastly, the best storyline aftermath of the event.
Oh, man. You know, everybody's talking about it, man. The slave owners, man. The plantation drivers. That storyline was amazing afterwards. That was the biggest takeaway, man, story-wise from after that. It's like, damn, son. They gave B-Dot a shot on URL and he took his from close range and gave the head honcho. He gave Ball Man Beely. He tried to give him a headshot. Yo. Shit was crazy, man.
Yeah,
What's going on here?
I definitely agree with you. It's because it's just like, at the end of the day, that's a PG. Like, you made history. The first PG battle to be on a pay-per-view. You made your debut, and then you had this, like, historic round where you just, I mean, like, you did what Jerry West did, essentially just made it more poetic.
You had people looking at them crazy, man.
Jerry West took from the B-Dot template, just made it more aggressive. Facts. And because he's from New York, you know, and I guess Smack's like, all right, you know. Cool, but you know, Smacks in Cali with this Cali dude talking like, crazy to him.
I'm gonna respect this. Boss Man Beasley's looking at him like, "Yes, Slickster, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you." But they had to respect it, though, man. He brought him back. You know what I mean?
The last category here, best performance of the night.
Oh. Best performance of the night. That could go to a few cats, man. It can go to B-Dot. They can go to Geechee. You know what I mean? If you want to throw Av in there, you could throw Av in there. Any one of them guys.
Yeah. Any of the West Coast guys. Any of the West Coast guys, honestly.
I mean, you know, for a guy who's a surprise to leave that much of a mark on a battle, like, good luck, man. I can't be mad at that.
I didn't write this down for the category, but I'm going to ask it. I'm going to make it a category. Who was the biggest winner after Traffic 3?
I mean, shit, man. Geechee got a platinum battle after that and kept getting bigger plays, kept elevating to where he's the new face of URL. He's got to be the biggest winner.
Yeah, I think you could say that if you're thinking like real futuristic. But I'm thinking like 2017, right after Traffic 3. Like, who walked out that building like the most victorious and...
Oh, I mean, all right, if you're looking at it from that standpoint, you might be able to give it to T-Top, man. The way, like, because the way he broke JC down and had the dance in there and all that and made a moment off of him, didn't that joint make World Star and all that too?
That's a great pick. I love the T-Top pick. I'm gonna actually go with Rum Nitty because right after he gets a legend played on Volume 1.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a pretty good anomaly too, man. You know, you go from losing on Summer Madness to redemption against DNA, and then you get Iron Solomon. I don't know what's a bigger victory than that.
I mean, I hear you, but then when you think about it, and you're like, you know, when the Iron Solomon match actually got announced and all that, it wasn't like people were throwing a parade and there was all this fanfare for it. Of course, the hardcore fans
very
were all
great,
into it, though.
Very great counter. So I guess I'm speaking on it retroactively because I know what
absolutely because how the battle came
out. I know what the battle came out to be. So I guess the biggest winner walking away from that night was T-Top, but
once again, how many times does T-Top got to do this for cats still some respect on Terrell's name, man?
Hey, man, I think the Arsenal one was just the last straw, honestly.
Arsenal, Rum, JC. How many times he got to do this?
Hey, Rum beat Top. And we end the podcast there.
What are you talking about? What are you from the West Bronx, man? Like, what's going on here? You one of the 576 cats that's out here going, oh, Rum Nitty. Where's my other phone?
I'm outside the top spot like an honorable mention.
Oh, man. Self-checkout. Say it with me. Self-checkout. Say it with me. Self-checkout. All right. right, man. And on that note, check it out, ladies and gentlemen. If you got any emails or any questions you want to ask us, email us at letstalkbattlerap@gmail.com. Wherever you're listening to this at, subscribe. Leave us a comment. Leave us some question on Apple Podcasts. We need that. Follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit at LTBR Podcast. Follow your boy at Program V on Instagram and Twitter, and log on to letstalkbattlerap.com. Yo, we can't thank y'all enough for rocking with us. We truly appreciate the support. From me, France, Dylan, Tim, Cece, all of our supporters, everyone behind the scenes, our family, everyone in the battle rap community. We know this is some weird, kooky, wonky times, man. So hold tight, man. We're going to get through this. And just thank every one of y'all, man, for rocking with us. Until next time, peace.